long way to go towards the bag at second, but he had to make that off-balance throw to first.
Split-second decision for Neto. He handled the tough hop, maybe because he had to bend down to one knee to shovel it off, but got so quickly to the shortstop. I wonder the decision between running to the bag itself versus beating the guy, creating a tougher angle, and then not a lot on the throw over to first.
Runners at the corners now for Encarnacion Strand. It is 2-0 Orioles last in the third. And the pitch from Rodriguez sailing outside. Mention Narvaez wearing that number 75. Fans of a certain generation will recall Alan Mills wore that number on the mound before it very well. The other thing, just speaking of that number, you know, when you put the catcher's gear on, all you can see is that second number. And a catcher with the second digit being 5. And just for a fleeting moment when he knelt down tonight, I'm thinking, oh yeah, Rutschman. Now, Adley is now the pitch to ECS, blasted to left. That's well struck, but going back on the ball is Siri. He'll leap, he'll grab it, and that retires his side. Orioles set.
But second longer. The pitch is down. 2-ball, 2-strike. Now to David Cruz. And back to the plate again comes. Fastball strike. He came right back over the inside corner. And that is a 3-up, 3-down third. Well, we are scoreless. Reds and A's here in game 1 of this 3-game series.
People that were involved in helping us acquire and develop, players, and a number of the guys that we traded.
That pitch in there is straight. Is it at all like a draft board where you have a list of kids you'd like to draft if they're available? Do you have a so-called trading board?
We have lots of tools, both online and physical whiteboards.
That pitch swung on a miss. Out number 1, strike out number 4. Here's Carson Bench.
So we have all sorts of trades and different proposals and how we prep players and prep concepts, and so it's constantly evolving. There's a lot of writing, erasing, rewriting. So we make a really good trades within our group, and it's a lot harder to get the other teams to agree to those though.
Here's left on left, Carson Bench, good-looking rookie out of Oklahoma State who sends a 2-hopper to second. Lozano will throw him up. That is out number 2. That'll bring up Luis Robert Jr. Were there times this weekend where you went, you know what, we're not going to get anything done, or does it ever get to that point?
It felt like that way, even as late as Sunday night. It felt that, again, we were pursuing a lot of things we were trying, but we felt we hit maybe some dead ends somewhere, and then things really picked up yesterday.
Now the set, now the pitch. A swing and a foul back. What prompts it to pick up? Is it simply a deadline?
The deadline always forces action. It's no different in baseball maybe than any other industry, but a lot of teams are just waiting. They're evaluating their alternatives. They think maybe their offers more what they want.
Robert swings and misses. Is it literally like a game of poker?
It really depends upon which organizations you're dealing with, because there are some organizations that are very straightforward from the beginning and say, this is what we will do, and this is what we won't do. And those positions may not change. And we kind of know that going in with them, that, okay, we want to do the deal with them, that's going to be the deal. And then there are other forwards who are kind of playing poker, and so it really just, again, depends upon each team and their negotiating style.
Now the set and the 0-2 to Luis Robert Jr. 4-0 Mets. Check swing. He went around. Strike 3. Tag made by Hedges on Robert. We'll continue with Chris when we come back. 4-0 Mets here in the middle of the third.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Recently, our company.
But the hook on Arise is that he will come to play every single day. Brings energy, intensity, and you just have to love that. Never taking a day off, and never taking a bat or a play off. The count 1-2 as Littell looks back at second base. Here's the pitch. It's up high. He rarely strikes out. He has struck out 21 times this season. His strikeout and his walk percentage are extremely low by any Major League standard. 2-2. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul back to the back.
Oh, he had what he liked, and it just found it straight.
High stepping past the plate. Back to his spot in the batter's box after missing out on that one. 1-0 Phillies lead. They've got 5 hits already. 2 on, and nobody out. Littell with a pitch, and it's down and in. 2-2 breaking ball. Three balls and 2 strikes as Littell checks second. He kicks the pitch. Swung on, fouled away. Out of play down the third base side.
One of the situations the pitcher, you know you're not going to strike him out. You just try and make the best pitch you can to get a ground ball somewhere.
3-2, and again, Littell ready to pitch. Swinging a ground ball right side. Chaparro dives, can't get it. It's a base hit down the line. Turner is headed to second. And Luis Ariz make a debut. He's 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. And it's 2-0 Phillies.
They got the ground ball, but just out of the reach of Chaparro at first.
And Chaparro got a little bit of leather on it, which deflected it and slowed it down. And that allowed Ariz to take an extra base on the play. His 24th double of the season. Bring up Alec Bohm with 2 men in scoring position. The Phillies are 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position tonight. Well, Ariz is 2 for 2. The Phillies are 0 for 2. Infield is in for the Nationals after a visit to the mound. And Littell with a pitch. Bohm swings, hits a bouncer foul down the third base side. Maybe he does get hits every time.
Well, so far so good.
The pitch, and it's outside. I saw a note today among the many that we get sent on a daily basis by any number of stat services. The 1-1 on the way, and it's fouled back. The Phillies with 2 strikes this year are hitting .158 with a whiff percentage of 25%. In the last 3 postseasons, they're hitting .142 with a whiff percentage of 30%. Wow. The 1-2 pitch. Bohm swings, hits it high and deep, right center.
Shout out to Elevation Has Guardrail. Yes, we are in Oregon. Go ahead, double tap.
Are going to tag and move up as Harper is home to score a sacrifice fly for Alec Bohm, and it's 3-0 Phillies. Luis Ariz this season with 2 strikes is hitting .264 with a whiff percentage of under 5%. So to say that he's a little bit of a different cat than what the Phillies are used to might be understating it.
I'll say, mercy.
Infield coming in, and here's JT with 1 out, the pitch. And it's upstairs for ball 1. If he hits the same ball he hit the first time, he'll have himself a base hit.
Yep. And the Phillies have another run.
3-0 lead here in the bottom of the third. And the pitch. And that is up and away. 2-0 count. Bohm picks up his 61st run batted in. at third. Here's the 2-0. And it's fouled away.
You want it?
Got a pitch in the zone. 20 light, he went after it. 2-1 to count. One thing the Phillies have been doing here of late, really starting that Baltimore series, they've been drawing squawks, and they seem to be making the opposition pay for the extra base runs.
No doubt.
2-1. Swing, gonna miss. 2-2 to count.
JT got fooled a little bit on that one. A little off balance going after it.
Somebody broke down. You need to turn that AC off on them hills. But
He takes his time out.
You better not be giving me the one
And
for that
steps
one
out
over
of the
there.
box.
you guys going up a hill, you got a truck with a fifth wheel or a truck with a trailer, you got to turn that AC off going up the hill.
And a 2-2.
Pop, pop, out.
Swing, gonna miss. Chased up and out of the zone. Oh, Realmuto a strikeout for out number 2.
This isn't just a dream. All fans will receive a BW multiplayer t-shirt on Thursday, August 6th at 6:05 with an access to Citizens Bank Park. Secure tickets today at Phillies.com. I believe that's in 2 days.
Here's Brandon Marsh with 2 outs and a man at third. And the pitch. And that's in there for a strike call. 0-1 the count. Out the left his first time up. And Littell, the pitch. Swung on Rich. Hit it right. That's another base. Elias will score. The ball's going all the way to long. Martian's on his way to second. It's double for Brandon Martian. The Phillies now have a 4-0 lead here in the bottom of the third. Brandon Martian with his 16th double of the year. He's up to 50 runs batted in.
If you think the hitting can be contagious, I mean, you get a guy like Arias in the lineup and he's doing what he's doing. It's just, I think it kind of relaxed everybody a little bit and just, we got this under control. Not trying to do too much.
Here's Stott. Singled his first time up the pitch. And that one is a...
I think it's classic. There's not too much going on in it, and I still love the dance.
Lefty relievers, but they've got them. The Orioles were in a much tougher situation to try to gauge where to go and what to do with the football, so to speak, at 54 and 58 this year. Pitch the newcomer, Franklin, the Franklin pitch inside 1-0. Any other year, 54 and 58, that sounds like a full-on sell, but this year, because a 500 record might get you in the playoffs, that's a little different. 1-0, he's on the way outside 2-0. Listen, the American League got flipped on its head, and nobody has taken a stranglehold of this thing. And there's a lot of traffic in front of the Orioles, but the math is what the math is right now. It's 2 games.
Oh, yeah, that's just...
If they turn into the Red Sox, and we are having a completely different conversation. And if you look at Craig Breslow and what unfolded in Boston, what he decided to do is a byproduct of what he decided to do at the end of April. And that is to change everything about the makeup of that ball club. There's a swing and a drive to the right field line with Bell out of play. Of course, it happened right here in Baltimore. Carlos Narvaez arrives from Boston and was...
Oh, Andy, what's going on, Andy?
Talking to him, thinking, yeah, last time I was in this town,
my whole team got carved up. I asked them to
Same
bring that
type
magic
of soil.
potion from Boston
It's a
as well
solely-
that helped the Red
type of
Sox
soil.
reach 23
Go ahead
and
and double
5,
tap.
and then force that offense to do things to make a real run at it.
2-2 pitch. Chopper towards short. Neto backing up. Loves it. Flings it across. Got him by a couple steps. So Kristen Franklin still looking for his first big league hit, though he does have a walk and a run scored. Orioles 2. Angels nothing at the end of 4 on the Orioles Radio Network.
And the Rocks, the richest story for Indiana football, comes to conclusion.
We're counting down the days to college football season on Sirius XM. All week long, hear previews of the Big Ten. We'll take you to media days and sit down with the star players and head coaches.
And the head coach of the Ohio State University.
Hear comprehensive coverage on Big Ten Radio, Channel 372, and Frankfurt Analysis. Check out College Sports Radio, Sirius XM Channel 84 in the car and on the Sirius XM app. Baseball talk from the player's perspective on Loud Outs.
You gotta love this stuff. You gotta eat this stuff up.
As the voice of Aaron Boone, it sounded to me like he was talking about eating chips and guacamole. Because you gotta love this stuff, and I eat that stuff. That would be my analogy for baseball.
Loud Outs, weekdays 2 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM Channel 89, and the Sirius XM app.
Summer is in full swing, and the action on the course continues to heat up.
Oh my goodness!
PGA Tour Radio has all the playoffs. Up this September, the President's Cup returns.
The United States has won the President's Cup.
It's all golf all the time on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Hello fans, this is Mike Elias, and you're listening to Orioles Baseball on Sirius XM. And that baby's long gone!
Well, the Orioles got those 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. That takes the sting out of the day that we discussed. All the that were made. Josh Lewin.
On a 2-out. Reds trying to even the A's. 1-0 in favor of the Athletics. Teague again out of the stretch with a couple of men on. First pitch slider waved at and missed for strike 1 by Dane Myers.
And you get that kind of swing after the ball is pounded in on your hands the first time up. That was a slider that stayed in and broke back over the middle of the plate rather than sinking.
Myers still trying to push him in scoring position. He's waiting on the 0-1. Here it comes. And Myers takes off the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike.
That's a good take there, because if you swing at that pitch, you're going to explode your bat. That was a good 3-4 inches in and off the plate.
In comes set. Now deals the 1-1. And it's a strike right across at the knee.
Well, you can see the chin drop from Dane Myers. It looked like he was taking all the way there, and that pitch was right down Broadway.
A ball and 2 strikes on Myers. Here's Ginn. And it's swung on. Hit in the air to right. Butler going over. Leaps and he makes the catch on the warning track.
Judged that ball, but he made up for it with his speed.
Boy, this judged it badly. It was going to get over his head, but Lawrence Butler able to reach up over his head and make the catch to end the red spread here in the 4th inning. We go to the 5th. Still 1-0 A's on the Reds Radio Network.
Are you ready for showtime?
If you're a Springsteen fan, welcome to the Promised Land.
I love LA.
Sirius XM's E Street Radio. Hear all of Bruce's music, plus daily concerts, exclusive interviews, and surprise guest DJs.
Jump on over here.
Only.
Here's the 1-2. Outside and low, 2-2. And if there's watching in this series, yes, the Guardians are trailing 4-1. But a lot of that bullpen
Don't
for
like
New
the
York
traffic
is an
man.
unknown quantity. Here comes the 2-2 from Cancello. Swung on, line drive, base hit into center field. Semien had the hold. Quads on it quickly. Semien will try and score anyway. And the throw is cut off in the middle of the diamond. Semien scores. And Luis Torrens has his fourth run batted in, an RBI single here in the fourth inning. That makes it 5-1 New York. By some pretty good cuts against Joey Cantillo through the first 3+ innings in this game for Cantillo. And the Mets have 5 runs on 5 hits against him. Back to the top of the lineup for A.J. Ewing. Ewing 1 for 2, could be 2 for 2. Or not for a great play by Stephen Kwan. Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball right side, base hit into right field. And moving up on the play to second is the catcher Terrence. Another hard hit ball as the Mets hitting Cantillo about as hard as we've seen anybody. Cantillo's had such an outstanding season.
Next stop, Seven Feathers Casino, Canyonville, Oregon. We ain't gonna slow down for you. You just gotta jump out right here.
Right. Steps in. He's 0 for 2. The pitch to him. He swings and skies.
Very nice place to visit. Me and Bigmama been up in there before. Right at the start of COVID, we was up in there. Nice buffet. They got a nice buffet. Canyonville, Oregon. Seven Feathers Casino. And they got a truck stop across the street. Come over here in the truck. You got plenty of parking. And upstairs, you got plenty of parking over there. You're welcome, Seven Feathers.
Wednesday, you can win a Guardians Edition F-150 Raptor truck. It's courtesy of your Northeast Ohio Ford dealers. And again, that's only through tomorrow now. Visit GuardiansF150Sweeps.com to enter. There's Bichette. The pitch to him is swung on and blasted to right. Fairly deep back is a dead. On the track, he makes the catch to retire Bichette and the Mets, who had another run at the end of the bottom of the fourth. It's New York 5, Guardians 1.
Not a great race with 32 strikes, 23 balls. Next pitch, and that just missed inside with 99 on that four-seamer. He's had good velocity tonight, that's for sure. Yes. 1-2. A look at second. Here's the pitch. Swinging a miss. He got it. Comes back to get the strikeout. A couple of them in the inning. A hit and a walk as well. 2 men left aboard. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It's 4-0 Phillies.
Now you can have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years. Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on big Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. Plus get unlimited minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. And keep our premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine. Restrictions apply. Requires payments, billing, and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds different. Use of web located. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Hi, this is Jay Jones. Looking for a truck with strength and dependability right off the bat? You'll find it in Chevy Silverado. This legendary pickup continues to fuel the American spirit through innovation and the unstoppable drive to move. When it comes to full-size capability, technology, and value, Silverado plays the line and works harder when you need it most. For great offers, to find the closest dealer at Chevrolet.com today. Every small business owner dreams of hitting a home run. For me, that home run was finding Gusto, the online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. Gusto is all in one, remote friendly, and covers all your bases. You can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere with unlimited payroll. No surprise fees. Go to Gusto.com today and see why over 500,000 small businesses call Gusto their LTP. That's GUSTO.com. Gusto.com.
When the game ends, the baseball talk begins. Tune into MLB Network Radio for expert analysis, great guests, and hosts who run the game on Channel 89 and Sirius XM.
The fourth inning is presented by Toyota. Check out Toyota.com and visit
strikeouts. He went down swinging in the first inning. Stowers, 28 years old, out of Belcall, California. Ball low. This guy played 3 seasons at Stanford. His brother, Michael, who played collegiate league at the University of California. A lot of baseball in that family. 1-0 pitch, loaded low, 2 balls, no strikes. 1-0 Braves at the top of the third. Holmes at 36 pitches, brings number 37. This is low. 3 balls, no strikes. It'll be something to pay attention to the second trip of the order. As we were talking about so many curveballs there that first trip through, and sinkers and changeups. Was he holding back on that slider fastball to show them a little bit more of that? So we're different with that second trip through. Rio pitch, he's swinging and finds the gap out in right center field. Cutting it off, Michael Harris sends it in. That'll be a single for Kyle Stowers. Turn around that cutter.
In the first half of the grand season, he was showing the whole repertoire first night for the order. And so he dominated that first time. He was hitting with 212 off with 3 home runs. The second time through the order, different story. He was hitting 298 with 14 home runs. That's the biggest difference of any pitcher in the major league for his first and second time through the order. So hopefully he's got something left in the tank here.
Rookie Conant punches one to short. That'll be taken by Jarvis. Cuts it loose to first base and a good throw. Not an easy play. A lot of outfielders, that ball gets to the wall. Right, but the routes and the first step focus of the outfielders isn't just when the ball's caught in the air. It's time the ball's off and pull guys to singles.
All right, you're down. Chase my drop. 6-0 Red Sox. Eric Miller is an enormous human. Here's the pitch, and it's outside. He throws so hard. He's got great stuff. There are too many walks, but a ton of strikeouts. And every time you pull up Cleveland, he's got the fire to match this clubhouse.
Yeah, I love that. You need that.
Right now he's smiling. And I'm not pitching tonight. It's 6-0. 1-0. Sandoval throws it. He clips the inside corner.
There's been several guys. All right, we'll start with Teron Guerrero. Like, throwing strikes was an issue, right? He gets here. Chapman, obviously, that started in Pittsburgh with him finding his command, but it continued here and got even better. There's been a few guys that have come through with command issues, and they fix those mechanics. They get him dialed in. Ooh.
His pitch is up. They have a track record of it. Exactly. Pitch misses up, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, his slider is real. Righties, when 2-strike counts, have yet to get a hit off of it this year. It is, I'd say that it's a real. It's got a 55% whiff percentage on his slider.
Wow. 2-1 pitch to Mydroth. There's a ball outside. 3-1. I think Chase Mydroth is a very good example of people you loved when they were here, just like Ianson and Witherspoon and even Marcelo. But you got Crochet for him. So you wish him well and say, this is how we do business in Boston. 3-1. Throw it first and putting it back to the bag. I do want to say, though, before we keep going on all the great things that happened yesterday, the hard part about the trade deadline, and I think the reason you exhale as a club and you move on and you turn the page, is that you do lose friends. 3 balls and a strike. Let's go back to that. Well, I'm going to miss Carlos Narvaez so much.
And this could be good for him, right? Maybe get a chance to go over there and play some more. I know they love Basayo, but he's also going to DH something as well.
3-1. Here's a pitch outside. And that's ball 4. This is not at all what Sandoval wants to do with a 6-run lead. So 2 on, 1 out. Look, he didn't hit much this year, but then he didn't play much, and it's so hard. I think that position, and we know this historically, the toll of catching makes it so hard through a season. You've got so many other responsibilities day in and day out to kind of work your way out of an offensive rut. It becomes kind of an important at bat here with Murakami at the plate. 2 on, 1 out. 6-0 Red Sox. Pitch is outside. I mean, the meetings, Will, the prep work, you got to know all your pitchers, you got to prep for all the other hitters. It can be hard to do what you need to do in the best way, just be selfish for yourself as a hitter.
Well, and he was battling some stuff internally with not getting to play, right? You can see it in his face.
1-0 is ball.
line, strike zone again. There he does. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.com.
Well, 13 home runs this season, 7 votes among Major League switch hitters, strike 2. So Dominic has come out challenging his former team, throwing strikes, and he's on top of Josh Bell. No balls, 2 strikes, bases empty, 2 out. Next pitch, ground ball, 3 straight ground balls. Caglione Fields falls. He's scrambling to his feet, underhand Dominic once again. And that's the 3rd out.
Miles from Lincoln Park, the Space Cowboys play their AAA Pacific Coast League schedule. And hitting .321 over his left.
Car and on the series. That's him out.
Hi. Here.
And RSN is presented by Yo with Grand Pressure Treated 5. If it doesn't have this yellow tag,
Mike Trout is the wise man we think he is. He will be tethered pretty closely to the bag because in each of the last 2 innings in it tonight, they had an Angel picked off. Ryan Mattis was the last Oriole with 2 pickoffs in a single game. We don't have to go all the way back to Timmy Martinez, but we could talk about the 3 pickoff inning, which was crazy. But Len Sakata had the catch. Well, he'll take down outside 1-0. That was classic. Everybody assumed, well, Sakata can't throw. We'll just take this huge lead 3 times in a row and Tippy just picked the guy off instead. Runner at first and nobody out. The pitch to the lefty. Round to right field. Backing his Beavers. Half the track he makes the catch. Boy, his tiptoe through the minefield continues for Kovac. He's given up the 7 hits. But still no run. Nice picked off with Guzman after the walk. There's been some loud contact, but the gloves have been there. Here comes Juan Grissom now. He's struck out twice. The 6th inning brought to you by PNC. Patience is a winning strategy in baseball and banking. PNC Bank willing to board since 1865. Pitch is inside 1-0. There's never been a more perfect night to do the PNC ring. Talking about patience and baseball. 1-0 pitch, crack in the air towards right, sending Beavers back. Still back near the track. Just shy of it, he makes the catch, 2 out.
And at the sole discretion of Dollar Bank and/or the
Went on, ground ball the other way. Diving Nunez, he's got it. Gets up, throws to Croc. He got him. What a play by Nassim Nunez. Just a tremendous diving play to the backhand side. Boy, that kid can pick it. You got that right. That's as good as you're going to see. Man, and I mean a gun. Right, we've seen him a handful of times. I don't think I've seen him make a bad throw yet. They're offline at all, chest high. Here's a rise, and he's taking it. He looks at a ball now low. 1-0 the count. A rise, a single, and a double. Each time he's driven in a run. Pitch, and that's outside. It's 2-0. Rise, who once upon a time hit for the cycle in this ballpark. 2-0 pitch. And that's a called strike. That was back in April of 2023 when he was still with the Marlins. 2 balls, 1
Shouts
strike.
out to Michael Williamson. Says 100 degrees in the shade in Utah.
On the outside edge. To hit 354 that year. That was the year of his double-digit homers. 10 homers that season. Only time he's been in double figures in that category in his career. 2-2 on the way. And it's way inside, almost spins out of the way. And now he got out of the way of that.
Matt Young will call and make the catch.
Right there into the gear of Drake Ball with 1-1. Fourth inning is the Tidal Wave Auto Spy inning. Tidal Wave Auto Spy is making Brave Country clean car country all season long. If the Braves get to scoreless fourth inning tonight, Tidal Wave will offer half off the Best Watch membership tomorrow. Learn more at TidalWaveAutoSpy.com/Braves. Curveball misses a little bit low and outside from Grant Holmes. 2 balls to the strike Casey. Braves got a homer from Ozzie Albies to lead off the bottom of the second. That's been the only run of the game. Casey 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 2-1, swung on, miss, good curve, 2-2. Owen Casey out of Burlington, Ontario. Up in Canada, originally selected by the Padres. 2-2 pitch, he blows it by another swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 4.
MIP Radio Channel 86.
Playing the best, he struck it out. A little fastball, 5-8.
Croc at University of Maryland. Help achieve your career goal. Officially get better tonight. Two-time defending Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal set to make his Dodgers debut in moments at Wrigley Field as LA faces the Cubs on channels 160 and 184. Los Angeles trying to avoid a 5th straight loss. Busy day for NFL contract news. Bears signed tackle Darnell Wright to a 4-year reported $116 million extension. $93 million guaranteed from the pack, the most ever for an NFL offensive lineman. Falcons and Bijan Robinson and the Ravens and Zay Flowers also completed lucrative extensions today. Atlanta 2025 first-round pick linebacker Jalen Walker appeared to have torn his ACL in practice. 2 more stops for NFL radio training camp today with the Titans and Bengals. Buffalo under new leadership for the Brady train.
I've had some of my best years in my career with Joe Brady at the helm calling plays. Now that I get to see him as head coach and the way that he's just been authentically himself throughout this entire process, and the way that guys respect him and really gravitate toward him, it's been awesome to see.
Alex won the tour. Catch re-airs all night on NFL Radio 88. All episodes are available on the Sirius XM app. Back to baseball. Red Sox up on the White Sox. 6-0 in the third. Boston has won 5 in a row. Yankees lead the Cardinals 1-0 in the fourth on MLB Network Radio 89. Phillies up on the Nationals 4-0 in the third. I'm Jeremy.
If it's family in sports, it's happening on Sirius XM. Sirius XM NFL Radio presents the 2026 Training Camp Tour for coaches. Players will know he's under pressure with a broadcasting from Tennessee Titans training camp. Here's Taylor Zarzer and Brad Hopkins.
Well, this is a thrill of Nashville, Tennessee.
Bob Harris and Mike Dempsey.
All right, welcome in, everybody, and happy Tuesday night to all from Football Diehards. We are ready to regale you with tales from training camp for the next 2 hours and how they bear on your fantasy football fortunes in 2026. So, welcome to the program. I'm Mike Dempsey, joined as always by my broadcast partner, the Fantasy Sports Writing Hall of Famer, from FootballGuys.com. I got your coffee table book in my hands here, Robert Harris.
I see it. It's a delightful thing. You know, if anyone out there is learning Football Guys, is back the second edition of the Football Guys Premium Draft Guide. Beautifully designed, collector-worthy guide packed with expert analysis, cheat sheets, and proven strategies to give you an edge this season. Last year it was everything we hoped it would be. The FSWA agreed, naming the best publication of 2025. This year, we're going one step better with the shipping. Every guy comes with free trackable USPS priority mail shipping. You'll know when the guy ships, where it is along the way, and when it will arrive. Only $24.95. And we're running low. You better order while you can.
Yeah, get it while you can. And I will say this as an added bonus. Like, I'm the kind of guy, I've got sheets and sheets of paper with notes on them, right? You can take this home, this football guy's draft guide, place it on top of those sheets, and they're not moving, buddy, because this thing will break your foot if it falls on it, all right? It is that impressive. It is heavy, as Bob has described it, like the coffee table book version of a draft guide. So do take advantage of that. All right,
We love it, yes.
Yes, right, and maybe send it to the people you don't love as well, because we'd love for that the good cheer to be spread far and wide. Tonight, Bob, we got a couple more teams to take a look at. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals. Shout out to my man JP Shadrick, soon to be formerly of the Jaguar Radio Network, got the head play-by-play gig with the Arizona Cardinals. Dave Pash, exclusive to ESPN now. Yeah, JP will do an awesome job. I called Jimmy Scalia. I said, look, bro, I know about this on Sunday, but I'm not one of those Calci market guys. I don't know if I could have gotten anything on the Calci market on JP and having that job. I had 48 hours advance notice, but with my indirect work and sometimes direct work with an NFL team, I stay away from those Calci markets.
Shouts out to the great Gray Wolf, 58. Go ahead, double tap.
I can help it for sure. Yes. No. Right. And having Stacey Perez on is a fantastic approach as well. I know you were speaking about my not get fired approach, which I'm a big fan of. As well. So I got a lot going on. Bijan could probably loan us all a bunch of money. You got to do, wow, what about $25 million on the high end now? Granted, he's got to hit, all the escalators and all that, Bob, but on the low end, so he's setting new marks for backs out there. The Falcons signing Bijan Robinson to a 3-year contract extension worth up to $75 million. Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Falcons, just talked about what it'll be like to finally have Bijan on a practice field.
Obviously, as a coach, you want to get your guys ready for the football season, and it allows us to get our time ready.
Oh, is she?
Great Wolf.
Beyond eager to get out there. So on that note,
She said that we get our email. I'm sorry, I'll check the emails tonight.
just let it go. We'll have a plan here over the next week. Terrific.
Nothing surprising in there, except are we back to Bijan? Is that
Yeah, I'll let today.
We're dodging back and forth. I was watching the NFL Network all day, and that was kind of a running joke on their programming throughout the day. It's let's do the Bijan. Nobody knows. Everyone's tap dancing around it. Maybe Bijan will Bijan us officially. This is a lot of money, and it's understandable. Like, he's very good. And I think he's going to lead this offense to great heights, given their quarterback situation. Seems like a foregone conclusion. Yeah, Bijan now, or Bijan, the highest paid running back in NFL history, surpassing Saquon Barkley, who was at the top. Now, the other guy is only, he says it's not contract related. He swears Jahmyr Gibbs has nothing to do with a new contract. But Dan Campbell was asked today, in light of Robinson, let's call him Robinson, getting his deal done, is this going to speed up Jahmyr Gibbs getting one of his own?
They all at the fair.
That's not very that you feel like you mess with him and getting out there with the guys and him being doing his part. So, but there again, man.
Yeah, we'll go check the emails tonight.
All right, so Bijan signed. That's what I'm calling him until look. If you're gonna have a Bijan buster, I'm going with Bijan, right? Unless I get the definitive shutdown of that from the source himself. But it's like if you're drafting tonight and you have the 101 and you like them both, you take Robinson because there's not going to be any headache moving forward whatsoever. Now at least you know he's under contract. The ramp up is going to come. We don't need to see him in the preseason anyway. I don't think we're going to see much. I wouldn't be running my $25 million running back out there in the preseason, but is this enough today if you're drafting to push Bijan to the top of the board over Gibbs?
So, feature page 20 of your Football Guys 2026 draft guide. There's an article by me called "You Can Trust It," and it's about the top picks and how close together they are and what kind of what it might take, how we're splitting those hairs. I think you look at both those backs; they both have new coordinators. They're both coming off monster seasons. I mean, there's no real red flags for either. So if you're playing it, like I have Jahmyr Gibbs as my running back one. If I'm being honest, if I was in one league and I was drafting today, why? why put myself in any risk. I mean, I think it's going to get done. I think Jameer Gibbs is going to have a deal. I think he'll probably be more highly paid than Bijan Robinson. But I don't know that today. And if I was drafting right now in a super important league, I'd probably take the path of least resistance, knowing that path will lead me to great success. Again, you look at the kind of offenses that Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees run. Saw Nick Chubb have great success as a lead runner. Bijan obviously offers one more as receiver as well. The quarterback situation there would be great for them to take some pressure off the quarterback. There is no more Tyler Algier, who scored a career high 8 touchdowns last year, working in relief, only getting about 35% of the snaps. It was not like a time share. It was a spelling kind of situation for him. So yeah, I think you could make that argument. If drafting in enough leagues, I'm going to probably stick by my guns and go with my rankings as they are now. And I think that would be perfectly fine if you did that. You know what you're up against, and you know what the circumstances are. And we're all grown-up adults, and we can make those choices. But those wanting to play it safe. I mean, I don't know how you argue that Jameer Gibbs is a safer pick right now.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's a question of playing it safe. I mean, how much divides these two guys anyway? I think it's perfectly justifiable if they were both in camp to go Bijan with the number 1 pick. So here's the question now. The report from, I believe it was in Rappaport yesterday, said that these guys, the intensity of the negotiations did not mirror those of the Atlanta Falcons and Bijan Robinson between Detroit and Jameer Gibbs. So if they're like, hey, yeah, here's some numbers, what about this? And it's just kind of like one of these things is Gibbs, and I don't know if anyone has the answers, but is Gibbs going to hold out for $1 more than Bijan Robinson, or is he going to take $1 less than Bijan Robinson, and knowing his role and his importance in the Detroit offense? So
where's the big truck?
What history suggests, but it weighs out. And honestly, I was wondering where it was. Whatever Jameer Gibbs said, I'm not necessarily buying this isn't about
that's where we got to go pick up the trailer from?
No, that's the Home Depot that we dropped at
for quite some time
before.
now. And on the lack of intensity,
Usually it's one of our trainers that drops in there.
Bijan's deal is done, and Jameer Gibbs is not. Perhaps by design, perhaps because the Gibbs cast wanted to wait and see what the money is, so they could one-up them, right? I mean, that seems like a sound strategy if you're Jameer Gibbs. Just wait a little bit. They're going to get a deal done. And maybe out there, someone Jonathan Taylor can say, maybe I get an extension now as well. And, he sits around and waits. He's not been holding it, by the way. And says he's fine with the way things are, but clearly he'd love an extension. And maybe this will spur the Colts to give him one. But, and maybe Gibbs is thinking that same thing. Thinking, well, maybe I'll just wait to see what Taylor gets too. So it's a bit of a concern.
Yeah, right, because at a certain point, it's like you can wait and you don't know if anything's going to happen with Jonathan Taylor, right? Or maybe it happens on the eve of the season and it's fine for Taylor because he's been practicing all along. I'll say this, I'm not taking a guy who hasn't practiced at all with the number 1 overall pick. Now we're a long way away from that being a reality with Jameer Gibbs, and maybe this deal gets an storm, and then it'll be a whole bunch of new about nothing. But until then, with you, this is at least a fair tiebreaker if you're deciding between the two at the top of the draft. Speaking of Falcons, by the way, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport believes Tua Tagovailoa will likely start week 1. I feel like we got several no-duh kind of reports today. Right, because he's the healthy quarterback right now. Yes, I think he's for rush. Correct. But do you think that, and by the way, Tua, had a propensity to dump it down to his running back, Devon Achane. We're not going to be opposed to Bijan Robinson having 80-plus catches in Atlanta this year, but do you think this is a situation where right now it would be shocking if Penix got on the field and did enough to win the job at the beginning of the season? So is Tua the guy until and unless the Falcons go on an extended losing streak this year?
I think that's probably the case, right? And that's why I think Penix said points on the water, and it's kind of, could be 4 weeks before he's cleared to practice, could be sooner. Depends on how know, I'm kind of torn. I mean, I'm fine with two of being in there, and I know I'm waiting one that I haven't gotten to a lot, so that's, you know, so, and maybe the quarterback situation subliminally is why I've kind of got stay right here and go a different path, maybe get a running back instead of a wide receiver, whatever. But I think that's, you know, I think the Falcons realize, I mean, everyone should realize that the guy who has not practiced at all, to do offense, he's been out there working in OTAs, but not, you know, taking part in drills, but and he certainly gets mental reps. But he'll have no actual preparation.
I see why you guys are always jacking me.
I think to be cleared to practice.
I'll be having to tell her, where's your cup?
And once you get into the season, there's almost never an actual quarterback competition.
She be looking at me like, what I need my cup for? I got BiggMama water right here.
Every rep that matters is going to the starter to prepare them for the next week's game, because there are a limited amount of hours you can be out there on the practice field. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be a case of Tua until and unless he kind of craps the bed with that opportunity, and that's certainly possible, although the outcome. Let's get a few thoughts on the New England Patriots here, Bob. The Athletics' Chad Graff put out a report that Travian Henderson is struggling with pass blocking in training camp.
They go to school.
If you struggle with pass blocking, you're going to struggle to get on the field on third downs, and that's going to obviously impact your pass catching opportunities as a viable fantasy asset. Henderson currently running back 22, 50th overall, so very early fifth round pick for Andre Stevenson. This is guys.com ADP, running back 29, 77th overall, Bob. This report seems like further evidence that at least there shouldn't be this big a gap between the two. But are we vastly overdrafting Henderson in the early fifth round right now?
We is a funny word, because I'm not.
No, smart, the royal league.
Right. Well, I totally get it. I think yes, absolutely. I think you look at last year, just, you know, the baseline here is Stevenson actually outproduced Henderson in fantasy terms, running back 22 to Henderson's running back 25 on a points per game basis, right? So the games he was on the field, Stevenson was more effective for us. Finished the regular season with 6 touchdowns the last 3 games. He ranked 5th in forced missed tackles, 2nd yards after contact, 1st in yards per target. But, you know, look, Henderson's finish last year was fine. Nothing the matter with it. It's just you're paying more for him than you're getting from him. And I know our football guys' projections right now expect a pretty even distribution. 184 carries for Henderson, 169 for Stevenson. And if you prefer to buy Henderson's playmaking upside, he's not overpriced. I thought he was a little bit last year. I don't think he's overpriced this year. But the gap in their respective ADPs, I'll have way more shares of Stevenson by far than Henderson.
By the way, we told you that Henderson and Stevenson's teammate A.J. Brown had a dislocated thumb. Mentioned that yesterday. Mike Vrabel gave an update on that situation today.
I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be okay. Now, I told the lineman to do that every other snap, and, you know, it's not a national story when a lineman pops his finger back in place, but we had a little bit of fun with that, and, you know, again, I appreciate what AJ and Gonzo have done.
I'll throw him back in place. There you go, AJ.
And try to improve, you know, it's been a good battle.
All right, get your ass back out there.
Gonzo, Christian Gonzalez. By the way, Chad Graff,
That's how people really get hurt.
and Henderson,
Well, he
certainly
just
pass
dislocated his
protection,
thumb.
pleasing. Keyshawn Booty has been the star of training camp, Bob. What kind of redraft value are we looking at here with Booty? I mean, Romeo Dobbs going as wide receiver 50, Booty is wide receiver 74. They're both incredibly economic, right? Just to be fair, you know, you're getting Dobbs in the 10th or 11th round, but are we drafting the wrong other wide receiver? Would you rather have Booty or Dobbs based on what you've been hearing coming out of New England so far?
Well, and by the way, Graff is not alone, because Mike Reese has been reporting on it. Pretty much it's been the consensus, and it's the consensus because Booty has stood out, right? Guys who develop, we saw flashes of him last year. So my expectation is still Brown and Dubs in the top of the depth chart. Matt Collins will be in the mix a little bit. He's a great downfield blocker. They love him in there. Great special teams player, by the way, as well. So I do think, you know, look, I'm going to sit here and continue with casting for a trade to put Moody in a better position. But I think right now he's probably slightly off the redraft radar, at least until we know about a role. And we look, be open to it. Watch for it. We'll be talking about it all August. where he's at and what's going on there. But I think, you know, if you follow the money and the capital expended on Brown and Dubs, those are going to be some top outside receivers.
Yeah, I saw it's mostly just speculation. People were suggesting, why not trade Romeo Dobbs if you're going to trade one of those guys? And a team acquiring an unworkable contract to come into the situation. It can at various times as well this year. A lot more to get into tonight. As mentioned, Stacey Perez from Vanguard Football will join us next hour. Later this hour, Jesse Newell of The Athletic on the Kansas City Chiefs beat. We'll get the latest from there. But coming up next, Bigmama of the Arizona Republic weighing in on the Cardinals and in particular that backfield, Jeremiah Love and company. How are the touches going to be divvied up among the running backs this year? We'll get into that and a lot more coming up and take your calls tonight at 888-XM Fantasy. Don't forget, SiriusXM.com/The Wire, where you can post your thoughts either in text, voice, or video form and get those weighed in on here on Football Diehards and across this network as well. We're ready to roll. Football Diehards on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Dominant performance this afternoon.
Hey race fans, this is Carson Oswald. The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
from Iowa Speedway. It's the Iowa Cord 350 powered by ethanol. For up-to-date NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on SiriusXM app.
For years, golfers used drivers made of wood until they were replaced by drivers whose materials perform better. The same holds true in outdoor living. Out here, wood can rot, warp, and splinter over time. That's why Trek's composite decking is engineered to outperform wood. It's built to handle weather and wear, and it's backed by limited warranties that last up to 50 years. Start your deck build at Trex.com. Trex Decking and Railing. Performance engineered for your life outdoors.
Texting calls, even recurring automated marketing text messages consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
I think it could be lower testosterone.
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and then moves the edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, the Total T2 is the brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send the text.
Text RIP to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text RIP to 215215. That's RIP to 215215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
LeBron or Jordan? Eagles or the Stones? Some decisions are hard and up for debate. Like, should you draft Christian McCaffrey in the middle of the first round? Here's Nick Webb.
For the most part, I'm avoiding CMC. I know the narrative is a little bit tired, played out, to take a right decision in your fantasy football drafts. I'm more than happy to let someone else take the risk on a 30-year-old running back of lengthy injury history coming off of a 400-touch season. Look, CMC was a cheat code last season in full PPR, no doubt about it. But he also touched the ball 44 more times than any other player, over 100 more times than Devon Achane. By comparison, it's simply a health bet for me. I love the player, but I don't trust McCaffrey's injury history, and I don't think that's really being factored into his ADP enough. Too much downside risk for me in round 1, especially with so many solid running backs available in round 2. Also, it's LeBron, and it's the Rolling Stones. I don't understand the Beatles. I never have. Woefully overrated me.
Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
Can't call in, listening on demand. Interact with the show right now at SiriusXM.com/The Wire.
Here's what's happening on SiriusXM.
SiriusXM presents John Mayer and Stephen Talkhouse, brought to you by Uber, and you and a guest can be there. Our grand prize winner and a guest will see air, hotel, and a pair of
Little sport car ain't good. Get out of there, sport car.
Enter and go to SiriusXM.com/.
Put you in our back pocket.
By August 18th, no purchase necessary. You must be a U.S. resident and at least 21 years old. Void where prohibited. Back to
Goes Brissett, looks right, throws right, caught on the goal line, touchdown, says the cry. Jacoby Brissett on a dive, drives Trey McBride for a touchdown.
Brissett out there dropping dimes.
Your league mates are panicking.
Who he play for, man? Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett, he's the quarterback for Arizona.
Is he any good?
Well, he's now going to be the starting quarterback over there. He got a contract now that Kyler Murray's going.
If you're out in Arizona, you're getting a good one. Let me tell you, JP does an excellent job. Has done a lot of Westwood One and national touchdown radio and stuff like that. Mike Dempsey and Bob Harris here with you, ready to talk a little Arizona Cardinal football. Bob McMahon from the Arizona Republic joins us to do just that. Bob, thank you for a few minutes tonight. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on. Before we get into the really good stuff, let's start with the other stuff. We got a game today. It's a Hall of Fame game. Carson Beck will start. Do we expect to see 0 regular starters in this one?
Most likely, yeah. I would assume so. Man, the enforcement has made that as crystal clear as possible without really saying it. I'm still curious if Jeremiah Love, the rookie running back, will get some looks. I'm starting to doubt it, but he really, really wants to play. He's made that well known publicly because they can't keep him on the sidelines. He's going to play. We'll see if they run him for a series or at least a couple plays, but I'm not sure. And no starters, as far as I know. No.
All right, well, regardless of who's out there, we hope they all stay healthy at this stage of the preseason. I think that's the key for every team that's running out there, particularly in Hall of Fame game week, Bob. But let's talk about Jeremiah Love and the competition in that backfield. They signed Tyler Algier to what looked to be starter money. Had the 3rd pick of the draft. Could have gone with what people consider to be a premium position. Got the pass rusher there. They opted to take Jeremiah Love. James Conner, Trey Benson, among others, are back there. What can we expect, at least early in the season? How do you expect this running back room's roles to play out?
I think eventually we're going to see Love getting the majority of the carries and the attention, but he's listed number 2 right now behind Algier, which is good for Algier because he was the odd man out, it seemed like. I mean, the odd man who wasn't going to be the starter as soon as they drafted Jeremiah, and kind of felt for the guy. I mean, he leaves, I forget, his 2 drafts, Bijan Robinson, after he rushes for 1,000 yards, Tyler does, and he's like, oh great, now I'm definitely number 2, and the assumption was that when they drafted Love, the same thing was going to happen to him here. But, for now, the depth chart is totally unofficial. It means nothing. But Algier is listed number 1. It's unofficial. Running back 1. Most of the carries, most of the action.
Something all people are already investigating?
I think it's being investigated already. There's a couple teams that could use a running back. Green Bay comes to mind. Trey Benson, left knee flared up on him. He's missed a few days of practice here. Ample issue there last year with that knee. So that's on hold. I still think they're going to have to move on from one of these guys, and it's probably Benson, and it could be James Conner, but I don't think they should do that yet. I think they should see what they got with their top 2 guys and have Conner there. It's kind of a rock, a leader, that veteran presence. They want him here, the team, the fans. He's part of what this offense was. For a while, the Cardinals were top 5 rushing offense in 5 of the last 7 years. and now he got hurt again. The additional love, I think, will bring him right back. I think Connor is Trade Day potential, but I don't think you'll see that at least until the deadline.
Talking here with Bob McManaman, Arizona Republic. Bob, it's not quarterback room here. Jacoby Brissett gets a bump in pay. I'm curious about this. Like, you know, from a fantasy manager standpoint, you put up good numbers in the second half of the year. But correct me if I'm wrong, you went 1-11 as a starter. If Jacoby Brissett had taken his ball and gone home, how much worse off would the Cardinals be at quarterback if they had a room led by Gardner Minshew and Carson Beck?
I wrote about it earlier in a column that I don't think they would have been that much bad off if they just done that. And that would assure them that Carson Beck would get enough looks at some point during the season to get a good idea if he's franchise quarterback material before you run off and draft one with your first pick next year. So if it gets, I don't know, 6 to 7 starts, I think he needs at least 6 to 8 to get a firm idea. He would have gotten that with Jacoby. I don't know if he's going to get that. And I don't think it helps Carson Beck. This preseason start well back. Preseason, it's going to be a vanilla playbook. There's no scripted plays. They had me to look at film of the Panthers once, and I don't win.
Yeah, so, for that game. So, Carson Beck is going to get the start. Just from what we've seen of him in camp so far, what are your thoughts on him?
It's been up and down, but showed a strong arm. Nathaniel Hackett touched on him today and said he really likes what he's seeing out of the kid. And praised his experience overall, especially in the pocket, and reading things. You know, Beck's got 6 years of college experience. He's played in big games. He won a national championship game last year. I don't think anything's going to really, you know, throttle him, except, you know, maybe Miles Garrett and Aaron Donald when they play. But, you know, he's sensitive. He doesn't seem nervous about this well. In fact, he said he hasn't been nervous since he was 8 years old and he played the City Pop Warner League title game. I don't know if I believe that, but it sounded good.
That's a good line, anyway, for confidence to include. Bob, been the #1 target here, Trey McBride. His targets have risen every year since he's come in the league. 169, a career high last year, basically 10 a week. Can that volume be maintained this year, or is he due to have a little bit of regression there?
I think it'll be close to that. It could go up, it could go down. Depends on Marvin Harrison and how long he can stay healthy, and how much more, you know, Michael Wilson can push for those extra targets when he got them last year with Jacoby. He took off and was on fire. So I think, you know, Trey McBride is this team's security blanket as a playmaking player. As a guy who can catch passes and do amazing things once he gets the ball in his hands. And it was nice to finally see him score touchdowns last year. What they could do with that. You know, I think it's a tight end ball right now. There's arguments you can make for other guys, but he's my #1 guy. And it's not because I cover the Cardinals. Really, it's not at all. I just think he's got the best of everything. So I could imagine it going up. It could stay the same. It could go down. Again, it depends on Marvin Harrison. It depends on Michael Wilson. It depends on Michael Ford. I mean, he knows the value of a great tight end. And, you know, when they go 13 personnel, that could cut down the targets because he wants to run the football and mix things up. So I wouldn't discount McBride not having another Pro Bowl season.
How do you see the Marvin Harrison Jr.'s progression versus Michael Wilson? We saw Michael Wilson come on last year, had great success with Jacoby Brissett. Was it tied directly to that, or is it possible
Michael Wilson's the better player.
I think you're onto something there because I'm starting to think he is. Probably ahead of Marvin. If for no other reason, Marvin, if that wasn't, because this one is, in my opinion.
All right, Bob, final thought, and we definitely appreciate your time tonight. Just give us the quick overview on the status of this offensive line and how good you think it can be this year.
Yeah, it's going to need some work. I'm not sold on right tackle or right guard. You know, 2/5 of your starting line is questionable. I think you got issues. And if they want to get this running game going, I think that's where you're going to see a lot of 13 personnel. They're going to bring in the tight ends and make them help. They're just not set, in my opinion, at right tackle. And, you know, someone might emerge and surprise me at right guard, whether it's third-year pro Isaiah Adams or the rookie Chase DeSantis, second-round pick. It doesn't do a lot for me. The other side, I like the left side of the line. I like the center, a little underrated. Earl holds an underrated center. Siamalo is going to help at left guard. And Paris Johnson wants to be the left tackle of the NFL. I think he's got a ways to go, but he's doing everything he can. And but the right side of the line is going to be the issue, and it's going to probably bite him in the ass during the season until they figure it out.
Just quick follow-up on that. As you well know, 13 personnel, 1 running back, 3 tight ends. That means there's only room for 1 receiver. Is that likely to be Michael Wilson over Marvin Harrison in more the 13 personnel sense, or the opposite?
I think it's going to rotate and change. And it could be who had on hand. It could be week game to game. It could be based on matchups. It could be they don't run 13 personnel as much as I think they're going to, although I do think they're going to. So,
all right, well, yeah, we don't have a crystal ball, but I just wanted your opinion on that. Not everything is definitive at in early August. But, Bob, we appreciate your insights. Been doing a great job on the beat out there as a columnist for the Arizona Republic for years, and we encourage folks to give you a follow on X at AZBobbyMac. But, Bob, thank you for your time tonight, and look forward to catching up to you again sometime.
Thanks, Bob. You're very welcome. Thank you.
All right, we appreciate it, man. Good stuff, Bob. We'll chew on some of that before the hour is out. But we'll turn our attention to the AFC. The Kansas City Chiefs in the crosshairs. Jesse Newell from The Athletic will join us. You're listening to Football Diehards on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Sirius X. Ball with that runner going down to first without using a wrench.
Here's Tyler O'Neill. Takes a four-seam fastball low for ball 1.
You can dodge a ball, you can dodge a wrench. But yeah, you had a big, bulky runner who was essentially out of the baseline. So yeah, just throw the ball towards first base.
Pitching into the right-handed hitter, misses down and in. 2 balls and no strikes on O'Neill. Jumping on the card for Dylan Beavers. As we look into the bullpen, 9th inning work for Yadier Cano. The 2-0 swing to tip off at home plate, held for a strike, and it's 2-1. The Orioles once again trading away Tyler Wells, and he had been anointed, if you will, the closer for the Orioles. 2-1, bound back off to our right. He was the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kate Povich was great tonight. A 7-hit shutout. Over 6 innings worth of work. Only issued 1 walk. They struck out 7. The 2-2. Now misses inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. First time since the very final start of the 2024 campaign that Povich pitched into the 6th inning with shutout baseball. And completing 6 innings worth of work, you have to go back to June the 12th of 2024. First year in the major leagues. 3-2. Flipped out a play up the right field side. Sees 3 balls and 2 strikes on O'Neill. That was the 2nd start in the major leagues for Kate Povich. And he fired 6 innings of a shutout. That is equaling a career high in shutout work. for Kate Bogish. One out, nobody on. 6 to O'Neal. Hit high and deep. Out to left field. Meckler in front of the wall for a chance. Leaps it in the air. It is gone! A majestic field. Soaring to the bird down. And dropped in by O'Neal. And the Orioles are right back on the board with the 8th by O'Neal.
Meckler could have played villain right there had he timed his jump. We talked about him. He sounds like a Batman villain. He's the Meckler. But he got O'Neal sent that short drive just beyond.
Here's Pete Alonso. Looks at the lefty, takes low, ball 1.
It's been an interesting night for Meckler. He's been on base a lot. He's had to chase baseballs in the right field corner. This time he was back at that left field wall. He jumped. He just didn't quite get it.
Maybe needed another half stride to get a little further to his left and then the leap.
A 1-0. Alonso sizzles it on a line out to left field, circled by Meckler, and it soars right to him. Hard contact, now 2 down on the line out to left field. Gunnar Henderson will come to the plate.
You know, it's been since 1991 that the Orioles have had this many pinch hit runs batted in a season. And Tyler O'Neill makes number 26 for the Birds this year.
That's a 129th home run to go along with that gaudy total. Here's Henderson, and he takes outside ball 1. 129 home runs, home run count brought to you by Ground Loop Geothermal. This season, all the magic is on the field go under. Let the ground you walk on heat and cool your home. A 1-0. Down and away on Henderson. 2 balls, no strikes. Bottom of the 8th inning. 3-1 ball. That has completely taken hold now, Charm City. Lights beaming down and the 2-0. Henderson looking down and away. 3 balls and no strikes. Gunnar hitless tonight. Lined out softly to second, bounced into a fielder's choice and struck out. 3-0. No green light, not even close to the strike zone either. A 2-out free pass to Gunnar Henderson.
The A's leading it 4-3. First pitch is a fastball in for a strike, and it's nothing.
Countouts. 5-2 Mets. We're in the 8th. Ciccone lets it fly. Bench takes it down low, 2-0. 5 runs, 8 hits, 1 error, 5 left for New York.
Well, I mean, an exercise like that should...
Like, but I have neglected oil changes, brakes, shocks, and
Abreu's left the building. It is so much more smug, Will, because they put so much pressure on pitchers. I mean, I just think it is such an emblem of everything that's been going on lately. The 1-2 is a ball outside. Sagan squared to bunt in the first inning after hitting 4 home runs in 3 games at Dodger Stadium.
You're seeing team baseball, right? And yes, pressure on the defense, and they're patient where they get themselves in good counts to do damage.
2-2 is outside. You know, it is the most simple, granular thing, but that has been the rocket fuel for this team.
And that's just having they keep the line moving, right? Whether that's bunch, whether it's singles, whether it's driving the pitch count up for the starting pitcher to get into bullpens to do more damage. They're just doing everything right. The little things they're doing right.
3-2 is a ball. And again, what he was looking for, you know, I think that'll do it. It will. I think he had, now it's thrown 89 pitches. Maybe push it for one more hitter, but not now. Let him again, maybe just pitch. Count for Sandoval, he's out 7-1. I think it's going to be Greg Weiser. And I'll tell you what, Will, he's going to get a nice hand. Jackson Chorio with a 2-out RBI single, and he is
Just do what you can. And you know, Patrick, he's so competitive, especially last year when he didn't have all their weapons. His thought so much was, I'm going to scramble. I'm going to make a play for myself. He can't do that as much this year. He's not going to be mobile enough. And even if he comes back week 1, he's not going to be 100%. He probably won't be 100% for most of the season, I wouldn't say coming back from his injury. But he'll have to figure out a way, and I think he's competitive enough that he's going to figure out a way to be successful, get the ball out of his hands, let the offense work for him, and be able to be there for his teammates and there for his team, especially after the disappointing season and how it ended for the Chiefs a year ago with a 6-11 record.
Just as I suggested recently that Andy Reid wanted to add explosiveness to the offense to take pressure off Patrick Mahomes coming off that ACL. And Kenneth Walker, the third, was the answer. Great explosive playmaker, the kind of guy that the Chiefs didn't have. I think his yards of 20-plus, carries of 20-plus yards or more far exceeded the duo last year, Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco. I don't know if they even did that or did it once. What have you seen from Kenneth Walker so far, and what kind of workload are you expecting?
Yeah, well, you're right on the 20-plus yard stat. The Chiefs had 3 20-plus yard carries a year ago, and one of them was by a running back. One of them was by Xavier Worthy, and one was by Patrick Mahomes. And so Kareem Hunt had one of them for the season.
Quarterback, head off to the running back to the quarterback.
So they really looking to add some explosiveness to that run game. I think what's got to be encouraging, like from a fantasy standpoint, from that is Dennis has never really gotten, or at least in Seattle, even if it's goal line carries or the short yardage carries, they were all Germany for those particular ones. She just did today and the short yardage drill.
What about a toss?
And the guy gets carries in those drills. I think for him, if you're looking, not only could he have the potential to be a 3-down back for the Chiefs, and they paid him to basically be a 3-down back for them if he stays healthy to be in there, but we've also seen him unlock the screen game. I talked about Joe Blameyer talking, and I asked him today about Kenneth Walker and what he brings to the team. One of the first things he's mentioned was, hey, the screen game is going to come back to life with the Chiefs because of what he can unlock and how you get him in open space and he's able to take advantage of it and make guys miss. That's the number one thing that Joe Blameyer said about Kenneth, which is different from back in the past, is he makes guys miss. So they're going to figure out ways to get him the football. And so, yes, you're looking at those PPR formats, everybody's in a touchdown format, but the fact he's going to get goal line carries and potentially get a lot of passes from the Chiefs and be a 3-down back, you would see volume, and touchdowns. And as we know, that's going to be something that should help out a lot of fantasy teams as long as Kenneth Walker can remain healthy.
Talking there with Jesse Newell of the Atletico Chiefs beat. Jesse, kind of go through the wide receiver room for us. We've heard so much hype around Cyrus Allen. A lot of people are drafting Rashee Rice highly. Worthy nicked up along with Allen right now. How does Tyquan Thornton fit in? Like, what's your personal head canon for the pecking order of interest in the Chiefs wide receiver room?
Yeah, so it's crazy how this happens in training camp, and I think a couple of things can be true at the same time, right? I mean, it can be true that Patrick Mahomes has looked Cyrus Allen's way a lot, and he's made some impressive catches even before the pads came on, and yet you still would put him, not as high in the second order maybe as you're seeing him from fantasy drafts now, and some hype that you see from training camp. That's what Rashee Rice. He's coming back from that knee injury. The Chiefs did not expect that to be a severe thing. They have to ease him back in after, having kind of clean up surgery, but he works so well on their offense. He's such a yards after catch monster. They know how to utilize him. They love to have him throw short, and they say he runs like a running back. And so his problem has been availability. I think he's played 12 or 13 on 37 games he's been in, and so that's been suspension, that's been the knee. I see him being a volume monster for the Chiefs. They know how to utilize him. They're going to do that sort of thing. I'm actually high on Xavier Worthy this year, but he did face a setback. They've been babying him along. He had suffered the torn labrum the very first round of last year when he banged into Travis Kelce. He had off-season surgery to heal that. So they put the yellow non-contact jersey on him in the summer, but he actually got tackled and kind of rolled over on a diving catch a couple days ago. So he's been out of practice with that. I'm really high on his prospects. I talked to Andy Reid a couple of years ago after the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl to the Eagles. He was talking about, hey, we didn't realize he could run all these routes. Over the middle, isn't tentative, all those things. So they were ready to unlock him last year. And he had an injury, and Andy Reid told me, he said, we stopped using him on some of those over the middle routes because we didn't want to get him hurt. We didn't want to get him injured. So I would have been very much higher on Xavier Public just because of all the fact that shoulder thing is barking at him again. He sprained it, and we're not sure he's going to return to practices when that's going to be. It does give me a little bit of pause, especially having this injury thing 2 years in a row. As far as Cyrus Allen goes, you just have to look at the history of Andy Reid and rookies. Those guys really usually take a lot of trust for them to play early with Andy. Don't impress on game. put up a lot of good things, and Andy had a run flown to it is the biggest thing. Showing trust in him is a really important thing early in camp, but now with that, so pretty good back in practice, the more confident I feel about him. But yet this sort of history with C. Reed and rookie receivers gives me some pause. So they can use somebody in deep man coverage, and Tyrus Allen's done that so far, but I would definitely hold on to him just because we've seen rookies before. And easily playbook with Andy having to time pick, and he's still the guy that's going to have to earn his way through this thing. I want to see him in practice. Once I see that was passed on, a little more confident he's going to be.
All right, Travis Kelce, Jesse, one last one here. Seems like he's, ready for one more year. What do you see him having left in the tank? What kind of expectations do you have for him?
Yeah, I mean, Travis is Travis, and you're looking like it from a fantasy standpoint. He was pretty good last year. He still gets volume. He still is a reliable target for Patrick Mahomes, kind of a safety valve, if you will. He might need a safety valve when he's getting some pressure this year and knows he can't scramble as much. But yeah, he's going to be 37, and we know that guys his age, historically, only Tony Gonzalez really has defined age to this point, like Travis Kelce's been able to do. So, I can still see him getting targets. I can still see him getting some yards. He's not really a big red zone weapon at this point in his career, but he probably could do worse at the bottom. I mean, he's probably a top 10 tight end, but not a top 5 tight end if you're looking at fantasy drafts. But I would just say, he's slowing down. You can see it in the speed numbers. You can see it in the average yards depth of target. He's brought himself into good shape in the training camp, but still, time comes for us all. So I think he's going to be short, reliable option for Patrick Mahomes. But if he's leading them in receiving like he did 3-4 years ago, there's going to be a problem with the offense. So if you don't expect too much, you won't be let down. But we'll see how it works out for Travis Kelce in age 37.
I think it's a very fair assessment. Could be top 10. Don't expect him to be top 5, top 3 necessarily, but still an asset. Jesse Newell, an athletic. You can find Shannon tonight. Offensive come up in camp, see if these receivers are getting a little bit healthier.
Sounds good. Good to have me.
Thank you so much, man. Jesse Newell, good stuff, Bob, there. For both our correspondents today. Now, phone lines open to you if you want to get in right before the top of the hour at 888-XM Fantasy. We got Stacy Perez, a fangirl of football, joining us then. And at some point, we'll react to everything we learned on the Arizona Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs tonight with Bob Harris. I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Football Diehards on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Are you ready for showtime?
If you're a Springsteen fan, welcome to the Promised Land. Sirius XM's E Street Radio. Hear all of Bruce's music, plus daily concerts, exclusive interviews, and surprise guest DJs. Jump over here only on Bruce Springsteen's channel, E Street Radio Channel 20.
Draft a winning fantasy football team with the experts of Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Wait on the quarterback. I think the position is as deep as it's been in years.
Your winning strategies, player protection, and expert drafts to help you build a championship team.
When the sure things at running back and receiver run out, take Josh Allen.
We're talking fantasy football right now on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Shouts out to Johnny Albrecht, said Dick Crest. Okay, gotcha.
Just search draft season.
I can't think of another poll question. I can't think of another poll question, so I had to put the same one up I had earlier. He's a Dick Crest team.
They own the league, and everybody else is just playing in their league. The commissioners are stewards of the league. They aren't the overlords. And ruling over the league with an iron fist is a
how about Kate?
Fantasy football and fantasy sports in
That
general.
frosting that we like.
Camaraderie, yes, competition.
What's the frosting that we like on the cake? Cream cheese? Cream cheese or whipped frosting?
When they're run democratically.
That'd be a good one, right?
The commissioner is the one in charge of running the process, but everybody in the league should have their say and their voice heard when any major decisions are made. So I always recommend a league vote instead of the commissioner just unilaterally deciding the entire league.
Hear Jeff Ratcliffe weekday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Willie Nelson here. Come on in,
The channel where traditional country music is alive and well. Texas honky tonk and western swing.
side of the road somewhere.
What's cracking on you fantasy sports players out there? Pressure on the ice cube. And you're listening to the channel of Fantasy Series Skins Fantasy Sports Radio.
A league champion doesn't take weeks off. Neither do we. This is Football Diehards. Here are Mike Dempsey and Bob Harris.
All right, at some point, Bob, we'll reflect. Maybe we'll do that in a few minutes here, depending on how the end of the hour plays out. But a lot probably, for me anyway, from both Bob McMahon and Jesse Newell on the Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs. So we will get a chance to reflect on all of that. Do you want to get in tonight with your own fantasy football questions, dilemmas, what have you? You can do that at 888-XF Fantasy, 888-963-2682. Matt in California taking advantage of that with a keeper question to lead us off tonight. Matt, you're on Football Diehards. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Joe, for taking my call.
Oh, there's your question.
I can keep 6 players, and I got 3 that I'm trying to choose.
Oh, no, I'm just ready to kick everybody off.
McConkey and Scatabo. I can keep all of them right around the 9th and the 10th round, and I'm just not sure which 2 to keep. I'm leaning towards Scatabo and Loveland because the wide receiver area just seems to be deeper, but I wanted to know what your opinions were.
My opinion reflects your opinion. Those would be my 2 choices. I'm big on Scatabo this year. Loveland. The 3rd tight end on the board almost exclusively this year, so right there in that top tier. I like McConkey's chances of rebounding this year. It's the Mike McDaniel offense. A lot of things that should work in his favor. But also, as you said, there's probably a nice swath of wide receivers in there that I'd be just as happy having.
Yeah, if I was only keeping 1, I'd probably keep Loveland, to be honest with you, because he's coming off the board consistently ahead of Scatabo in the drafts that I've been in. You'd have a better chance to have him back. Keeping 2, I think the decision is pretty easy, and I agree. I concur with the esteemed Bob Harris, who, by the way, right now, I'm told is going to tell us about the Fantasy Football Today Draft-a-thon 2026, Bob. We got a lot of things to let the audience know about, including that.
I just tweeted out the link to get in and donate. It's a great charity Dave Richard puts together, the guys at CBS Sports, for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. They're trying to raise $200,000 on the year. They're hoping to do half of that. And this contest, the Fantasy Football Today Open, it's a 432-person tournament with 36 teams. You can pick me and play against me or 35 other experts, and you will know them all. They're all fantastic people. And if you win the first 12-team league, you advance to the playoffs in Week 14, have a chance to win the FFT Open in Week 17. So it's a good time. A lot of great people playing in this thing, and we're raising some money for a really important cause.
All right, so you got the link out there. You can go to Football Diehard, right, on the X platform, and find out. You got to get the pick.
Yep, but Radcliffe is totally off the board right now. So go out there. There's 35 people remaining, including me. Sign up with me. I would love that. I would love to compete against you and have a good time. But there are plenty of people in there and plenty of openings left.
Not surprised. I mean, Radcliffe's nickname around the office is low-hanging fruit. So, you know, everybody thinks it's something. We get in with Jeff Radcliffe. We'll have a chance in this one. Now, we love Jeff. He'll do an excellent job in that, as he does in all of his league. But go to at Football Diehard for the Fantasy Football Today Draft-a-thon 2026. Stacey Perez going to join us to kick off hour number 2.
So much to discuss tonight. We'll have Josh Lewin coming back in just the backstop. Here comes Ellie, and the game is tied. Stewart up to third on a wild pitch, ties the game at 4. Fastball, and you talk about overthrowing it. Way high and outside.
Well, that is a huge break for the Reds, and I'm sure that the A's were saying that was a huge break for them to score a runner from second on the ground ball to the shortstop.
So, breaks are even is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
1-2 on Suarez, the 1-2 pitch. Way high on the inside half. Suarez back out of the way, 1-2.
If Suarez can figure out some way to make contact right here, might have a chance to take the lead.
2 the A's a run. That comes with a wild pitch. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Suarez. Way inside, that kicks away. Here comes Sal to the plate. He will score. The Reds have the lead.
Oh my God.
In house, Brian Monse. Mets 6, Guardians 2, 9th inning, top of the order, runner on. A.J. Ewing. Reds the lead. Outfielders, medium.
We'll take you to media days and sit.
Like your chances, Glenn. Stowers just a 164 hitter against lefties. Much better against righties. And when Dylan Lee's locked in, like he showed us thus far, he's tough to hit.
1-1. Stowers chops it foul. Our contestants 1 strike away.
Hey, Tiny.
Quinn Bixler hitting 1 more strike. He'll be riding around on that brand new Yanmar ZTR. I think Jonathan's going to deliver it to you. Drive it all the way to your house. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Stowers.
Huh? Yeah, you can. Did we decide what we were doing?
Well, I need to check that back to see if it's
Yeah. So we're missing tomato paste. Maybe we can find tomato paste at the pilot. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to do burgers, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, we got sloppy dill sauce.
You should be able to mix this with the pepper.
Yep.
Gotcha. All I gotta do is brown meat.
Yeah.
Brown meat.
Yes. That's the only one down there?
what though? I'm gonna stand by it because I think that he's gonna be the guy that comes in and takes on that trusted role for Caleb Williams. You know, now that DJ Moore's gone, he's out of the picture. You know, I think that we're gonna see big good things out of all the pass catchers there in Chicago. But I think Colson Loveland is the one that just kind of comes in and is able to just build on the way he finished the season last year. So he's definitely one of my guys. Tucker Kraft from the Bears. I know it's a homer pick for me. I'm a Bears fan, can't help it. You know, I tweeted off the pup list this week. I just foresee him continuing on and just you know, becoming again just an excellent tight end. I think had he not gotten injured last year, we would be talking about him as the second tight end off the board. You know, he was on pace for almost 1,200 yards last season, had 6 touchdowns when he got hurt in week 8. He was just absolutely crushing it, and I think that, and also what I've been hearing from training camp, I know there were some interviews with Jordan Love this week from NFL Network and Stacey Dales and Kate Adams, and it just seems like, you know, they are still on board to keep feeding Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, that can't be more than enough
biggest guys that I have right now.
We'll add the Sloppy Joe.
And the Kraft out cleared, you know, for practice and all that. You're not concerned that, you know, or like early in the season, you expect to see the full-blown Tucker Kraft experience, I take it.
I do. You know, he got hurt in week 8, so I think he's enough removed at this point. You know, and I think the Packers are pretty conservative with their guys and bringing them back, and they're not going to, you know, ramp them up as, you know, I think sooner than would be healthy for him or put him at risk at all. So and just knowing what an intense player he is, I just see him ready to go week 1. And if there is any ramp-up period, it would only be a couple weeks at most.
Tucker Kraft, one of my guys also, and I agree with everything you said there. And I think that, you know, it's interesting the one seed position approach this year. It seems to be either Ryan, but with quarterback, it's either Josh Allen or Wade. Has that been your approach, and has that been like your experience? I know you play a lot of leagues with not just industry people, but the average folks out there. What are you seeing at the quarterback?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, if you're taking Josh Allen, you know, you probably can't get out of the third without taking somebody taking Josh Allen. For me, that's a little too rich, so I'm going to wait a little bit. That's been kind of how I've been approaching drafts this season so far, or this offseason rather. But yeah, I mean, there's just so much value at quarterback that I think that you can push it a little bit. You know, if you don't want to pay that high draft price for Josh Allen, even though I think he's an excellent quarterback, if you get him, you're not going to be upset about it.
Well, all right, let's say you're not taking Josh Allen, and yes, quarterback is deep, so maybe you're just letting the board come to you. Who are some of your preferred options at the position?
I really love Dak Prescott this year. I think the Cowboys are just going to be another high-volume offense. We're going to have everybody healthy. CeeDee Lamb, George Jones is going to be back. So I see him. He's one that I've just been kind of like, I noticed that I've been taking him more and more often. Another guy that I've been waiting really late in with the Saints. I think that he's going to have another incredible season, and just, you know, keep going on the consistency that they've got in their system. Now they're bringing in another weapon in Jordan Tyson. They've got Travis. Oh my gosh, I know that I'm going to mess with Etienne or I don't even know how to say it anymore, but you guys know who I'm talking about. You know, so they're adding more weapons into that offense, and I just think the Saints are going to be a little bit sneakier than I think we give them credit for, and might cause a little problems in the NFC South this year.
Yeah, we're just going with Achane, by the way, like the bond.
Achane. Thank you.
I think that's close enough to the ball.
And Trevor Etienne is wondering what happened to his brother now, Devin's brother.
Right?
I think, again, we're having a lot of the same guys being our guys. I'm big on Chuck as well. Some of the guys that we were just talking about, the Kansas City situation, sounds like the people there are really high on Kenneth Walker III. Are you?
You know, I don't have him in any future drafts this year, and it's not. I think I probably do need to start getting some exposure, just to, you know, to get that in there, mix him in a little bit. The thing that's pulling me back really is that he's never been in that no-cow role, right? He's never been that workhorse, and we've always had the injury concerns. So I see that Kansas City is doing that. That's their intention this year. You know, and I've been seeing on the news out of camp that that's what they plan on doing with him. But it just worries me a little bit that is he going to be able to hold up that much? You know, is he going to be able to truly step into that bell cow role? I mean, they don't really have anybody else. So he kind of has to, and it kind of has to work for them. Or else they're just going to have another lackluster run game like they've had in the past. But, you know, it's not somebody that I'm going to purposely stay away from, I think, for the rest of my drafts going into the season. I think I'm going to make an effort to try to go get at least just a little taste of Ken Walker.
Well, if you're worried, and granted, he has an injury history, are you worried about Christian McCaffrey with the workload last year? All reports are he looks fantastic to this point. But do you try to be agnostic about the injury situation? Like, what is the right range that tempts you to take CMC in the draft?
Yeah, so I think it's like right in the middle, you know, right in those like 6, 7, 8 ranges. You know, to take Christian McCaffrey and you know, like you see all the jokes online that like he's siphoning the health off from like all the other players and that's why they're all like injured so they can keep McCaffrey healthy. But really, I mean, he is the only one that hasn't had any injury issues with snap, or, you know, like so far even this season, and it just seems like it's you know, piling up even more for the Niners at this point. So he is definitely the one you can trust. He's the one that they're going to be giving the ball to. I think, like I said, that 6, 7, 8 range is where I would feel comfortable taking him. I mean, he's going to be, for me, that third running back off the board behind Gibbs and Bijan, and it's just going to be a matter of how far does the rest of the board let him fall.
I think he is for most everybody. I think Mike made a great point last night. If he's going to be healthy all season, is there any reason you wouldn't take him number 1 overall? I mean, I wonder if like people who like to take big swings or, you know, later, you know, it's like, hey, I'm going to go all out or just going to take that chance. There's plenty of guys you don't have to take chances on, though, in that same range. Jonathan Taylor, Ashton Genty. What do you think of the Raiders this year?
Yeah, so I'm actually really excited about the Raiders. You know, I think they have a lot to be excited about as well. You know, we've got a new coaching staff in there. It seems like they're finally getting some guys that, you know, aren't just the coach's son involved in kind of running that offense, which is nice. You know, I think they've improved their O-line, so that's going to help Ashton Genty. You know, eventually when Mendoza gets in there, you know, I think he's going to have a little bit more of a steady situation to come to, rather than something a little more chaotic like a lot of rookies, you know, unfortunately have. But I think at the beginning, you know, you've got Kirk Cousins. I think that's good news for Bowers. Cousins has always elevated his tight ends, you know, going back to his Washington days. So, you know, for me, that to me makes Bowers, you know, an easy lock for the tight end one to kind of take that crown back from Trey McBride this year. So I think good things all around for the Raiders and for their fantasy outlook this year.
Talking here with Stacey Perez, Fangirl Football. We'll give you Stacey's socials before we get done tonight, so you can make sure you're following her if you're not already. I think one of the most discussed positional battles we've had since we've returned for the 2026 season here on Football Diehard, Stacey, is the Carolina running back situation where Chuba Hubbard continues to go ahead of Brooks as running back 30, and Bob and I are both more Jonathan Brooks believers. Slightly cheaper as running back 33. The ADPs have tightened up a little bit, but if you're casting your lot on one of those backs, who are you going to go with?
Oh man, I think if you're swinging for the fences, right, then you gotta go with Jonathan Brooks. You absolutely have to, or you gotta hope that he is everything that we thought he was going to be coming into the draft. And you gotta put out of your mind that he barely played at all, you know, only got on the field just a really tiny bit. But you know, if you want more consistency, if that's something that you value in your draft, then you go with Chuba there. And I know I just gave you guys like the lawyer, it depends, you know, answer. But yeah, I mean, if you're, you know, you want to have a good time. I think you're swinging for the fences. You want to have a little excitement and dynamic players on your roster. I think you just have to go with Brooks for all the reasons you said. I mean, the ADP just kind of speaks for itself right now.
You never got the lawyer on a early basis.
No.
So looking at some of these offenses out there, like, you know, the Houston Texans, we get a new running back in there. We see how this team is built to play defense. We know they want to run the ball. How big of an opportunity do you think David Montgomery is for fantasy investors?
Oh man, he's another one that I can't stop taking everywhere. I mean, if I take one of those top elite running backs, I'm going to push it a little bit, go get David Montgomery as my RB2, because you can get him at great value right now. And I foresee him taking that Joe Mixon role. I mean, I remember a couple years ago how incredible Joe Mixon was for the Texans, or for a lot of people. So I kind of see the style. Now that that they've got somebody in there who can do those things for them, who can take on that role. So I am really excited about David Montgomery this year, and I mean, he really is just another one that I cannot stop drafting.
Is A.J. Brown going to return to the ultra elite fantasy receiving tier this year in New England? And what other New England pass catchers are you willing to draft? Obviously not the same range as Brown, but just overall, who are you interested in there?
Oh yeah, I love A.J. Brown. I think I'm probably a little bit higher than most on A.J. Brown this year. It's just a new environment for him. I think he things were kind of obviously soured there in Philly. He's ready to leave. It's kind of similar to DJ Moore. Get them out of that environment, get them into a new environment, reunite him with Mike Vrabel, and the way that they're going to use him in that offense, I'm just really excited about. And I have been taking him pretty high when I can get my hands on him. And I'm excited about the prospects there for him especially. But Romeo Doubs, he's another one that you can get fairly cheap, and he just had great seasons with the Packers. Target monster there in Green Bay. So I foresee them using him in similar roles there in New England. And I've also been drafting Keyshawn Boutte pretty late too. You can get him at a really good price. So he's another one. And I know that there's some trade rumors out there. If that happens, then all the better for him too. But I think they're in a really good offense. Taylor Drayman gives him a little bit of an upgrade in his receiving core, and I think that everybody's going to benefit from that.
Just saw next to my colleague Matt Waldman making his usual argument, like if they aren't running Keyshawn Boutte out of the slot, they're making an error in judgment in New England. So we'll see what happens with that. I agree. Like best ball, you can get him very late, and I think he's a great play because he turns up like that kind of on the regular. Denver Broncos, Jalen Waddle arrives, and de facto wide receiver one that we saw him early in his career in Miami put up huge numbers. Are you expecting a return to that form, the Tyreek Hill-less Jalen Waddle?
Absolutely. Fourth round too right now is his ADP receiver, number one receiver that late. I'm all about it. So I see that a lot this year. He's going to kind of take over that number one role. They traded for him for a reason. They paid a big price for him. So I can't imagine that they, were going to go out and get somebody like that and pay that kind of, draft capital or pay a, price for him, and not use him to the full extent of his talent, his abilities that we've seen before. Especially when Tyreek Hill wasn't on the field. So I am really excited about him. He's another one that, if I need to add another receiver into my roster, I'm going and getting him, and it's not even a thought. It's just an easy click for me.
All right, Stacey, a couple more for you here. We talked earlier about the great likelihood at this point is that Tua Tagovailoa at least opens the season as a starter for the Atlanta Falcons. As Bob has pointed out many times, really the connection between Penix and London made London ultra elite. He's being drafted still the same way in the middle of round two. Is that a fair ADP? Is that a fair price to pay if you presume that Tua is going to have that job at least for a while?
Drake London scares me a little bit this season. I think if you are taking him in the second round where he's going, then you have to be confident in Tua. You've got to be confident in at least one of those quarterbacks is going to be there for a significant amount of time without having to worry about injuries. Because if you are worried about that quarterback play, then you're probably not taking Drake London there and now, but we're probably passing on him and taking somebody else. I'm hoping that we get some consistency there. Obviously with Tua's injury history, is terrifying. The same with Michael Penix, to be honest. But with London, he's elite. He's a great talent. For me, it's just not something that I can smash. My draft button this year.
Jim, we brought him up. It seems like he is the only piece of the Miami offense we have any faith in. Do we have too much faith in? Given the circumstances, a rebuild basically, although the Dolphins won't say that. Malik Willis at quarterback, not a lot in the receiving core. What are we doing there?
Yeah, so with Devon Achane, he literally is the only player that's fantasy relevant on there. Maybe we want to talk Tyler Pre, maybe we can talk about Greg Dulcich a little bit later. But yeah, Devon Achane, for me, if I'm looking in that range where he's going, it's a bad offense. Towards the end of the season, when they are clearly out of the picture, out of the playoff picture, do they rest him? Is there, if there's an injury concern, is he getting back on the field? Those are going to be the concerns for me that may give an edge to another player in that level. Not that he's not a great talent years, but given, like you said, Bob, that what is headed towards this rebuild, I just don't know that I would trust in that situation in my fantasy playoff weeks, right? When that's when kind of everything matters. You know, you want all of the elite guys you drafted early to be coming through for you, and I'm just a little bit more concerned that Huntington may be shelved a little bit if the Dolphins are out of it. If and when, I guess, the Dolphins are out of it, that's probably the better way.
Well, we shall see. There are always surprises every year. You know what? That's all our time to discuss them. Or tonight won't be the last time you hear Stacey Perez, though, on Football Diehards from Fangirl Football. You can find Stacey out there on the socials at Stacey_Perez83. That's Stacey, S-T-A-C-Y. No E in there. Come on. Stacey_Perez83. Stacey, always great to see you and have you on the program. Look forward to the next visit.
Thanks. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
All right, there she goes, Stacey Perez. Always great opinions out the door. Mo, back over to you at 888-XM Fantasy. We got to circle back to the Cardinals and the Chiefs. Got other news of the day as well. You know how it gets in hour number 2. Got a lot to do and a finite amount of time to do it. But more events as we continue on Football Diehards on Fantasy Sports Radio.
A dominant performance this afternoon.
Hey, race fans, this is Carson. NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday at
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
From Iowa Speedway, it's the Iowa Accord 350 powered by ethanol. For up-to-date NASCAR news, here's the pre-race show before every Cup Series race.
on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on Sirius XM app.
Attention fantasy football commissioners with advice on your league setup. Here's Howard Bender.
As being a good fantasy commissioner isn't just about filling out the league with competitors and organizing a draft game. You're responsible for ensuring fairness and integrity within the league and making sure everyone is having a good time. And that starts with your league settings. Do not just pick a website and use their default settings. Take the time to make sure you have some legitimate rules. Every league has that one person who spends all their time searching for loopholes, and it's your job as commissioner to make sure there aren't any. So if you don't want someone using a quarterback at the tight end position, or someone leaving the draft without a kicker or defense, or even someone to argue against how teams make the playoffs, be sure to adjust your league settings and establish some ground rules before you even set a draft date. You and the rest of your league will be happy you took the time.
Hear Howard Bender on Fantasy Alarm, weekdays at 6 Eastern.
down to our roster limit.
There are a whole lot of trees.
If I were cutting today, Zach Ertz, obvious cuts I would make, but I'm like, why cut today? Maybe Zach Ertz will find a team, and I've got McBride there, but not a whole lot happening. So maybe the Commanders, maybe Chico Conco appears, you're going to go, I don't need him. Is that what he wants to do? Go back to the Commanders?
I don't know that he does. No, I'm just, I'm just throwing that out there.
How about Carolina?
Carolina always needs a tight end perennially.
Right. So Damian Sanders, Tommy Tremble ain't scaring anybody. I don't know how scary Ertz is, but he was pretty effective last year.
I don't know. I'd like to think the Greg Dawson shoots bulletproof, but might not be Ertz.
I don't know if you can win the Ertz. Anyway. All right. That's minor. We'll get to some minor stuff a little bit later on. Let's get a couple of calls in to get the whole back rolling here in the middle of hour number 2. We got Nate from Texas next up on Football 9 Hearts. Hello, Nate. Nate there? Okay, good try. Let's go to Morgan in New York. Hello, Morgan.
So I have a kicker question for you on the Superflex. And the caveat is that I can actually keep any one of these 3 players for a 2-round harmony next year. So we have a standard Superflex with 3 starting wide receivers, 2 running backs, tight end in the flex. So I have the opportunity to keep 2 of the 3. So Jackson Dart would be the 11th. Bayshall Tubin would be the 16th. And then Tyler Shuck would be in the 14th. So I can keep 2 of the 3 of these guys.
Yeah. Great values across the board here.
Yeah, do you have another quarterback?
Well, it would either be Dart. Well, I can start 2, so it's the Superflex, right? So I can keep Dart and Shuck.
So if you don't have another quarterback on the roster, I would keep both quarterbacks in it.
Yeah, I probably would too. I mean, you're getting such good value on them. You get incredible value on two as well. I mean, they're all phenomenal. But I think, projecting ahead to next year in a Superflex, will it be worthwhile to keep Jackson Dart in the 9th round? Likely so. But likely viable to keep him in the 7th round 2 years from now, right? And as long as he doesn't completely fall on his face, certainly Tyler Shuck. If I was keeping only one of the quarterbacks, I'd keep Shuck into myself. You get a little bit more value on Shuck, and I have a little bit more confidence in him as a passer than I do Jackson Dart, although, you got Blake Neighbors there as well as a weapon. But yeah, I'm probably with Bobby. The value on keeping those 2 quarterbacks, setting yourself up while everybody else is chasing them in a Superflex early on, set you up pretty well. You'll get Major Tooth back into the Superflex. He won't go as high as he does in a typical 12-team redraft where you start only 1 quarterback, but obviously you're not getting any of these guys back at the current round investment. So to have the first 10 picks available to you and already, viably have your quarterback position set, Bob, I'd still like to add a 3rd one, but you've got that luxury of not having to do your first or even necessarily your 2nd round pick. I'd just like to have 3 starters there if I could get them, but you're off to a great start with Dart and Shuck, so that's the consensus there. I think we got Nate straightened out. Nate, you're next up on Football 9. Go ahead.
Hello, gentlemen. 10 team, 2 flexes, no tight end. What does I got the 10th pick in the draft. What are we looking at here as far as my number 1 draft picks?
Okay. So, that's probably a good time.
I'm guessing, the tight end availability really comes into play at that point. You might get a James Cook, CeeDee Lamb, Barkley, Hampton. Justin Jefferson will be available to you almost certainly. Chase Brown probably be available to you. I thought pretty good range of options to go obviously picking quickly, the turn. So yeah, you'll end up with 2 quality players. I would probably, see what goes on, but I mean, don't be afraid to get out of everything running backs. That's good basketball players.
I don't think you have to do that though in a 10-team season, right? I think there are enough running backs to go around here, and so I'm going to say Jefferson or CeeDee Lamb are on the board. One of them is probably going Brown, Bob. I think Chase Brown, James Cook, the guys you mentioned. I'm not as big on O'Marion Hampton as some, so I'd be looking at Cook and Brown ahead of him. Genty, and I'd probably go in with designs on splitting this with, unless just it went crazy at wide receiver. Like if it went to ADP, Gibbs, Bijan, Chase, Puka, JSN, CMC, your first 6 picks. I'm on Raw at 7. If 8, 9 were Jefferson and Lamb, then I would double tap running back in that circumstance. But outside of that, if I got a chance to grab one of those guys, I'm probably taking him along from running back.
Yeah, I think that was my point. Don't be afraid to if that's how it plays out. But I mean, we're trying to encourage flexibility when you don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
But I 100% agree with you. I think the right choice is, if Lamb was there, he would be ideal in that spot with any of those running backs.
All right, Nate, good luck to you, man. Love to have those back-to-back picks in any size league. Let's get Chad in West Virginia before we hit the bottom of the hour here. Chad, you're on Football Diehards. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a keeper question. I can keep 2 of these people. I got Josh Allen in the 2nd round. I got Kenneth Walker in the 3rd round. I got Pickens in the 5th and Higgins in the 6th.
And is this do you only start one quarterback in this league?
Yeah.
Okay. I know why I like it. How about you?
Probably Walker or Pickens.
I think he only gets 1.
Oh, he only gets 1? Probably Walker.
Okay. I think he and Walker are both 2nd round values.
Yep.
This year, and I'm getting Pickens 2 rounds later than Kenneth Walker. One vote for Walker, 1 vote for Pickens, but they'd be the pair if you're able to keep 2 if we misunderstood. But if you're only keeping 1, I don't see keeping Josh Allen in the 2nd round. Just don't see it. You'll get him back in the 2nd if you want him that badly. Get him in 3rd, probably, in many cases. And I just like Pickens that much more than I like T. Higgins right now, that I'm not willing to, wait the extra round of value. But if you feel differently, if you like Higgins on par with Pickens, he's very good value in the 6th round as well. So 1 vote for Walker, 1 vote for Pickens. It's the duo if you get to keep both. Chad, we appreciate the call. I'll take more of yours on the other side, but let's get back to some of the news today. I want to get your thoughts, Bob, on what we heard from Bob Bigmama with the Arizona Republic and Jesse Newell with the Athletic on the Cardinals and Chiefs, respectively. We'll do that straight ahead here on Football Diehards on Fantasy Sports Radio.
Sirius XM NFL Radio is in training camp, getting you ready for the season. We're visiting with every team and interviewing the head coaches and star players from around the National Football League.
This is Lamar Jackson.
This is Matthew Stafford. This is Trevor Lawrence. Your expert analysis of your favorite team on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
You can't overstate the value of a team that understands the expectations. I think this team is just prime position to continue that run.
Search for your team to listen anytime on the Sirius XM app.
The first place for baseball talk is the leadoff spot.
This is why I love what we do.
Eduardo Perez.
Because we break down the damn game.
Xavier Scruggs.
If you don't have your best players impacting the game, you don't win a World Series.
Steve Phillips.
When you make a big trade to help the team and then it backfires on you, it's not great.
The leadoff spot.
As a general manager, when that happens, you're like, oh no.
Weekdays at 7 Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
Race day. Laps are run, tensions build, and tempers, well, they just might flare. Fans gasp and teams fight for that 1 extra second. Every pit, every lap, every mile. Legendary moments, forever experiences. Memories only made here. To experience the thrill of a NASCAR race in person, visit NASCAR.com/tickets.
Hey, Fantasy Lifers, Kendall Valenzuela here. Your fantasy draft is almost here, but are you actually ready for it? One great draft can put you on the path to a championship, but once you're on the clock, you know this. You don't get a do-over.
I need to focus during drafts. I don't like any distraction. It's only an hour and a half to 2 hours where you're laying the foundation for your team.
Join Adam Ronas and me every weekday for team previews, sleepers, busts, and everything you need to crush your draft. That's Fantasy Life, weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fantasy Sports Radio and the Sirius XM app.
2K your way with Sirius XM channels designed to shift your timeline. Jump into the pit with hard rock and new metal on Turbo. the SiriusXM app.
Hey, this is Jeff Vance with Elite Sports weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. I help make you a better fantasy player and sports better only on SiriusXM. Vince, Sports Radio.
This is WWE superstar CM Punk.
And your queen, Charlotte Flair.
WWE Radio is now on SiriusXM.
Hear Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and every WWE PLE Live.
Plus Busted Open, Not Sam Wrestling, and your favorite WWE podcast. WWE Radio will be a super home for all North America to hear about Dan Harrison's communications, timings and doings and doings and comings and sounds. It's all on WWE Radio.
SiriusXM, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
No fluff, no filler, just the fantasy intel you need. This is Football Diehards on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Here are Mike Dempsey and Bob Harris.
All right, I don't know, 23 minutes left to go in the hour. Let's use them wisely here, Bob. Reflecting back about an hour ago, we had Bob McManaman on of the Arizona Republic, talked all things Arizona Cardinals, and, you know, we're like anybody else. We want some confirmation bias, and if we're thinking it and they're going to back it up, we're like, that's fantastic. So, like this take about Michael Wilson being possibly the best receiver on that football team, at least wide receiver on that football team. Talked a lot about the desire to play 13 personnel packages, 3 tight ends, in order to get that running game going, which could be good for those guys. But Bob, I mean, 13 personnel, I think, is extreme. You're not going to see it all that often. But look, this is going to be a lot. Yeah, 12 a lot. But that being said, both Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to be on the field. I thought it was interesting that he thought that all the range of outcomes are there for Trey McBride. Like, it's probably going to be somewhat a similar target share this year. People are like, he can't possibly have 169 targets again. Well, I was like, he might have more. I don't know, it might be a little less, but like, he's not definitively saying, he's just like, it's all out there. Don't think that he can't replicate the target share that he had last year, Bob, and he's got the quarterback back that had kind of a radar lock on himself and Michael Wilson last year. Had not only a radar lock, but a touchdown lock, right? I mean, that was what was always the missing ingredient of Trey McBride, was scoring touchdowns. And he scored 11 last year. He had 6, I think, in 3 years prior. Right. So that was the big shift there, and maybe that can carry over, maybe not. But we know the role is going to be solid, right? So yeah, and I thought it was interesting that Bob, you know, basically endorsed him as the best tight end in football, right? I mean, he said independent of him covering teams, he just, you know, objectively believes Trey McBride's better. So I thought that was interesting as well. We'll see what happens with the quarterback position. I thought it was also pretty interesting that he wasn't sure that Jacoby Brissett is the best answer at the position. And your point is well taken. 1-11 is not a great record. He's not going to get that chance this year with pieces behind him. So we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping, you know, whoever it is can kind of feel the fantasy forces the players we're interested in. The backfield is obviously the interesting piece. Right, and I thought, you know, look, you can hear what you want to hear. And I, you know, am more invested in, well, dynasty-wise, I'm more invested now here, redraft-wise. In fact, I don't have any shares of love this year in redraft. But the way he put it, he's like, look, and again, we're hearing what we want to hear to some degree. So anybody else, you can go back and listen on demand, SiriusXM.com, on the SiriusXM app, what have you. But he's like, look, yes, Algier is number 1 on the depth chart right now. Depth chart really doesn't mean anything right now. And the way he put it was that Love will get most of the carries. Didn't say but he said most of the carries once this thing gets going. And by that, I interpret once the games are real and they count, that you expect Jeremiah Love to rise to the top. I don't know if it's going to be that clear. Most just means 51% of the carries, right? And I would expect him over the course of this season to have the majority of I feel like this is not a pushback, but more of a little bit of a dose of reality here from Bob McManaman, saying, like, you know, we can all feel for Tyler Algier, but there's a reason you draft a running back in the top 3, and that's because you plan to feature him, to use him. And I felt better about Love listening to Bob McManaman than I have probably over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I probably have 0 shares in Jeremiah Love. I just don't like where he's being drafted. I think right now he's running back 13. He's been pretty high all along out here, and it's grown on me based on how they, it sounds like it will be, like, even if it was almost the same split, it could be the same split as we saw in Atlanta. Tyler out here is coming off a career high 8 touchdown season, only getting 35% snaps. I think he can have similar quarterback, but part of that is the offense has to be good enough to get range at the goal line on a semi-regular basis. We will see about that, but I'm with you. I think that the price is right on Algier. The price is not right to be off of, even if I think he's going to get the majority of the work.
Yeah, I don't, at this stage, I'm not sure, other than draft capital. I'm talking NFL draft capital, I think we're going to have more players than Michael Wilson. Just not seeing, at this point. On the other one, we had Jesse Newell from The Athletic talking Chiefs in the first hour, and maybe not cold water, but just a little bit of reality. Like, it's going to take a lot, despite all the hype around Cyrus Allen, he's been very good. It's going to take a lot for him to carve out a significant role. What he did, Bob, is made me feel better about Rashid Rice's place at the ecosystem than probably anything I've heard this offseason. That he is so important to what they do, that he's going to be such a high-volume guy, that they so much value his run after the catch. It doesn't seem like there's any dispute in the mind of Jesse Newell, who covers the team, that Rashid Rice is going to be at the end. The Athletics added to the lead in the 5th on Brady Singer.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. You're back. Exclamation point! It is 14-2 Red Sox. Smith for the Pirates. Remain on the first base side of the rubber. Kicks delivered. See it missed down and away with the slide. Here's Schreiber's 2-strike pitch, and it's outside.
And Dallas just letting that roll got to a point where they were just hoping it would go foul.
For the politics of everything in life, I want to take calls and process work.
And Lopez is stationed up the middle, so it was in the right spot there for that.
Favorable statistics while they're out there. We should be there. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think it's a safe bet since I'm
Yeah. From your national reputation, hometown, service. So leadoff man award for the Pirates. Uribe set up the pitch and a chopper foul on the third baseline. Very late swing by Mink. And it's 0-1. 1 for 2 tonight. A walk and a single from Mink. Hitting .303 on this season. Switch hitter up there is the left-hander against Ready Uribe. The 0-1. And that missed up the way with a secret 99. This one on the strike. Today's eighth inning being brought to you by the Wisconsin Laborers District Council. Earn great union wages and benefits building Wisconsin's infrastructure. Learn more at MyOnaWisconsin.org. Uribe long hole. And now the 1-1 pitch. That one is popped foul and out of play down the left field line. And it's 1-2. Again, that's MyOnaWisconsin.org. Spell it out for you. MIUNA. Wisconsin.org. You can feel the power. 1 ball and 2 strikes here on Maine. A runner at first, nobody on top of the 8th inning. Brewers holding on to a 4-2 lead. Brewers entered the day with the best record in baseball, half game better than the Dodgers. One-two pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a sinker down and away. That was a nasty sinker at 98, and it had some major arm side run.
And coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning with the top of the order, Cody Funderburk. Big
recorded the last 2 outs of the 6th in relief of Joe Ryan. He stays in. Another lefty here for the Pirates. This is a tough matchup stretch for Uribe against this Pirates lineup. First offering to Lau is a slider that just missed a little bit low. And it's 1-0. Because of the switch hitter Mangum, and behind Lau, a switch hitter in Reynolds, a lot of lefties for Uribe to face here in this 8th inning. 1-0 pitch. And this is a liner into right center field. It's going to plug the gap. Morrow will cut it off before he gets to the warning track. Going first to third is Triolo. And the Pirates have him on the corners now for Brian Reynolds. So the tying run is aboard here for the Pirates. A little bit of trouble from the Pirates' bats against Uribe here. And that's where hitting Triolo was tough, because that was the righty, the 9-hole hitter to start off the inning. Instead of having nobody on and one away and feeling like, okay, navigate the top of this order now, the table was set, so to speak, in this inning for all these lefties that are coming to the plate. Quick visit now to the mound for Contreras, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook, wall-to-wall screens, elite dining at over 95 kiosks. It's a fan stream, Potawatomi Sportsbook. Become a legend. There's a big moment in this game right here. A 4-2 lead, runners on the corners, one away. And a guy that can get a lot of ground balls in after Uribe, and that's what he's hoping to do here.
Did you already see that?
First pitch. Is a swing and a miss. Single pass to the 98. It's 0-1.
Turkey meat?
Brewers have out hit the Pirates 11-5 in this game.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it.
Uribe again out of the stretch. The 0-1. And a swing and a miss. Blew a sinker past him at 100 miles an hour. And it's 0-2. Mason Montgomery has joined Kirby Yates out in that bullpen for Pittsburgh.
Kirby inverter back on?
Saw him in the 9th inning of last night's game for the Pirates. Time is called by Reynolds. Valdez is in the on-deck circle for Pittsburgh.
Just touch my booty?
Sorry. Trying to go through the meat of this order is Uribe.
I was trying to plug it in. No pun intended.
0-2 pitch. It's down and in with a sinker. And it's 1-2. Wow. 2 bluff steps towards second and then put on the brakes. This is going to be a strike. Challenge right back on the windows and doors of Wisconsin. That is a strikeout of Brian Reynolds, and that was a great challenge by William Contreras. You know, Josh, it kind of felt like William got cold on ABS challenges the last couple of weeks. That's as big of a challenge as you can get. He caught it kind of awkwardly. Might have fooled home plate umpire James Hoy. But William had the presence of mind to know that that was in the zone. Ortho ASAP strikeout. Now here's Valdez. Uribe brings home the pitch and missed away with a slider. It's 1-0. Has been a bit of a rocky 8th inning so far for Abner, but he's got a great shot to get out of this thing with no damage done. Long hole, letting that pitch clock wind down, finally raises the leg at 1 on the pitch. And the slider caught the outside corner. It's 1-1. Has struck out all 3 times he's come to the plate tonight. It has been a tough night at the plate for the rookie. Abner again, long hold the 1-1. It's down and away with a sinker. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy is a refreshing fine spirit natural lemonade flavor. Leinenkugel's flavor of the moment. Throw that baseball out of play, get a new one. 2 balls and 1 strike, the cap here. Nice Valdez. Crowd trying to encourage Uribe through this 8th inning. 2-1. And
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how much, what does it look like? Oh, is it pretty thick? Set it in the microwave.
Muscle milk gives you protein when it...
1, 2, 3, 8 minutes. The batter is Cody Clemens.
Tune in every week to hear us talk about the latest news around the league.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out and
Oh, they got
just what happens on the field. They're in the net pressure space behind the scenes.
A lot of things.
Profesores, traen lo mejor de ti en nuestra variedad de emocionantes juegos de mesa.
For the crown. Arsenal win the title! The English Premier League returns August 21st on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Mariners and the Tigers no score top half of the second. All-star Riley Green.
Dual on speed for the Athletic, and you heard from Stacy Perez of Fangirl Football earlier this hour.
And the City Northville Lumber will donate to Detroit Blockbusters, Northville Lumber's Michigan's oldest business. Largest trucks decking dealer. Strike.
Innings. Bench on the third base side. The count is now 0-2.
I'll tell you, man.
Low play. Must be 21 or older. Problem gambling. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Is your AC ready for summer? Emergency Air, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks, truly.
1-0 pitch. Missed outside. Goes to 2 balls, no strikes. Here on Cooper Pratt. Another good night for Cooper at the plate. 2 hits. This kid just keeps getting better with every game. Brewers put him out there. Gates 2-0. And puts in there for a strike. Fastball like 91. Gates through Saturday action. Correct myself, that's Sunday.